Hi, everybody. It's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. So, I wanted to make a quickie announcement before I talk a little bit about powerlessness, another aspect of it, one of my favorite topics powerlessness and power, personal authority, how that fits into compulsive eating and compulsive behavior and watching yourself go through those motions over and over again. But before I share about that today, a little tip with it, I wanted to say I've gotten enough notes from people speaking to the Eating Peace process, the Eating Peace program that I've done. That's a longer program, 11 or 12 weeks, and I've done it 2 years in a row in the winter. Lovely groups of people, really fabulous to start in November and move right through the holiday season. And guess what? It's going to start in January this year. So some people have been asking, when's it starting? I'm ready to enroll. I want to get going. I have just been revamping, reading, organizing, receiving feedback, taking the feedback that I've gotten in incredible in-depth and detail from the past several years of working with people over time, and really a lifetime of studying compulsive eating behavior and all that goes on there. And I have just been rebuilding it, and it's going to be ready, but not in November. January. We're going to start in January. So I'll also be doing my once a year that I do in Seattle, the very intense Eating Peace immersion in January. And I already have fabulous people signed up and coming to that. So just so that you know, it's happening January 19th through 22nd. You start on Thursday night. I'm with you 12-hour days, Thursday, Friday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's really quite a remarkable experience, and I love being with the people. And the online kind of version of the Eating Peace process will start in January too. So that's just so you all know. All right. Powerlessness. The way this struck me recently was there's been several different people clients or noticing in my life where interruption is either required or not happening, right? Or fear of interrupting. What do I mean by that? Everyone's had that experience of being in a dynamic with a person and you feel like you want to interrupt what's being said. Interrupt is a very interesting word all in itself. So there's what I suggest, how this relates to powerlessness is, first of all, a really wonderful exercise is to sit and write who in your life you have felt powerless in the presence of. And I don't care if it's very, very small. So it may be something like a person who's extremely talkative and you feel powerless when you're in their presence. There they are, just chattering away, speaking and talking and talking and speaking. I had this friend once who, every time I went out for a meal with her, every few months, we lived fairly far away from one another, I would go home later and I would tell my partner at the time, my husband, I'm same thing, 90% of me listening and her talking, and 10% of me talking and her listening. And obviously I was complaining about it. I felt like it was off balance. But I never did anything to address it with her. I would just tell him because I was so afraid of rejection. I loved many things about this friend, and there was other things that I felt uncomfortable, but I just wouldn't bring it up. Very strong, dynamic personality. And this is like before I really studied much in the field of, looking at my own behavior very well and thinking about alternatives. So there's this idea called assertiveness, right? And we often think of somebody who's really powerful, kind of standing in their own 2 feet and being present and being clear, as someone who is assertive. Not aggressive, not passive. Isn't it true that those two, passive and aggressive, are the two, like fight or flight? I always say there's also freeze. I'm just terrified and I'm so scared that I'm frozen, not speaking anything, pretending like I'm a little statue. So there's that option too. But all of those really have a sense of powerlessness to them. You are being overridden by something that's really grand and great and bigger than yourself, and it's uncomfortable, and you don't know what to do. And this can be incredibly debilitating when you feel like in a relationship with somebody you really deeply care about. For example, parents, go back in time, looking at family and parents, or people that strongly influenced you, adults. If you sensed a kind of a lack of respect or something that on the inside where you had no power at all, and you really began to believe it as a truth, that can come out, fear of rejection, whatever it is, it can come out in your relationships currently. And it's amazing that if you can turn that around and live a turnaround, which is to take care of yourself in the deepest parented way. Father yourself, mother yourself, sweep in and protect yourself. And you don't need to do it with aggression. You don't have to be a mother lion ripping someone's head off. You don't have to run away, run for your life, shut the door and lock all the bolts. You can awkwardly, if that's what it takes, if it's new, let yourself be like a baby and say, I feel really nervous right now. But one thing I've noticed about our friendship is whenever we get together, you do a lot of talking fast, and I sometimes feel like I can't quite keep up, and I don't know what, even if you trail off and it doesn't really feel like it lands, you still can feel so much better because something in you is willing to take the risk of feeling powerful. Often I think, that complaining and that difficulty comes in with extreme powerlessness, hopeless. There's nothing I can do. I have no options. I'm backed into a corner. This is just the way it is in the world. And it becomes very despairing when, even though that is happening, think I could move here, say this, have this conversation, and be awkward and childish and inept about it. I have felt like if somebody watched a movie sometimes of my early assertiveness attempts, you'd think like, my God, this is never going to work. That was not assertive at all. She never asked. She never got around to asking directly for what she wanted. But it would be this attempt. And you have to learn, almost like you're learning how to walk, to just say, here's what I'm watching. I care about you so much, and I want you to know I'm kind of scared that you're going to have your feelings hurt here, or you're going to feel rejected and I'll never get to talk to you again. And I don't want that to happen. There's so many things I love about you. There's just things that you can say. There's places you can go with it that will be an awkward human effort when it's new. But it's so valuable. What you will receive back from doing that for yourself is incredible. One of the things that you can receive back from taking a stand for yourself and feeling powerful and feeling just a real strong sense of personal authority and like you can stand up for yourself. You have an inner father. You have an inner mother. And you're not wounded by the parenting. You're instead feeling what can be supported in your own inner parenting. You've got a little kid in you and you've got an inner parent in you. One of the great rewards for being willing to give it a shot, just try, even if you kind of fall on your face a little bit, is you will not feel like eating so much. That's worth it. There just becomes less of an urge or a need or a craving or a reaching for some kind of energy from the outside that's going to give you some power or give you an escape or give you some comfort or help bolster you up, which of course eating or going into an addictive trance makes you forget about it for a while, but it doesn't work in the long run. So you just got to break through that kind of initial fear about speaking up for yourself and really, kind of taking a stand or just holding your ground in a way, being with who you are and being the person who cares about other people's feelings. That's okay too. You don't have to stop caring. So even if it feels awkward and weird, just notice where you feel powerless, what relationships you feel powerless in your life, And then begin to consider what all that is. It helps to do some journal writing. Very, very, very helpful. Study it. Do the work on it. And then see what your living turnarounds can be so that you bring a sense of power into those relationships. And yes, you can do this with relationships that are long gone, where maybe the people don't even live any longer, and you want to get a sense of having a conversation with them that feels strong and clear. You can do it from this point into the past. All right, take care. If you have any questions, and you'd like more on any of this, write to me, and I'll share more stories on getting a sense of assertion on the inside of you and how you can do it. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.